Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series on C programming language. We are in our lecture number 63. So after our last lecture, we learned about what so many fundamental things which are all included in our C programming language. Like we learned what actually arrays are, what are the structures are, what are pointers are, what are functions are. Okay, now today we are going to learn about new data type. Normally we learn like data types are of primary, derived and user defined data types. As part of primary data types, I already told you we have int, float, char and double. So if you want to learn in detail about the primary data type, the link will be provided here. And we also learned about derived data type. As part of derived data types, we learned arrays, structures, pointers, all are derived data types. And one more data type also we learned, that is about user defined data types. And under user defined data types, we learned about type def and enum. If you want to learn in detail about type def and enum, the link will be provided here. You can check here. Right. So today we'll see about one more derived data type, and what is the use of that derived data type is this data type will be also derived from your primary data types, and this data type name is union. Now what is this union is, this is also conceptually similar to your structures. We already learned about what actually a structure is. We learned like structure is a collection of heterogeneous data type elements. That means if you want to store how a structure, if you want to store more than one value with the same variable name, then we can do that one by using the structures. In detail about the structures, you can learn from this link. Now coming to unions, unions are also similar like structure, where if you want to store more than one value of data, then that can be done by using your structures. But and all the values can be of different data types also, that is okay. Then we have the same concept available with the structure, then why we need to go to the unions? The only difference between structure and union is in terms of storage. Both union and structures allow us to store multiple values of different data types only. But the difference between these two is in terms of storage. What is that is, in structure, each member will be having its own storage location. That means if you have int, char, float, then for int 2 bytes will be allocated, for char 1 byte will be allocated, and for float 4 bytes will be allocated. But if you're following the same thing using union, then only a single memory location will be allocated. And that single memory location size will be equal to the largest of all the members given, and that memory location will be shared by all the others. Got it, all of you? So here for in each member, individual storage location will be given, whereas in union, a single shared memory will be allocated, and how much memory should be allocated depends upon the largest data member size. To understand this point, let us take one simple example. Let us consider you have declared a structure like this, and the structure name is EMP. And it includes two elements, X and Y. X is of char and Y is of float. Okay, now X requires 1 byte and float requires 4 byte, and we have created one variable called E. Now whenever you create a variable called E, to this E, for X 1 byte and for Y 4 bytes, total of 5 bytes will be allocated, and among these 5 bytes, 1 byte is for X and remaining 4 bytes are for Y. So the memory allocation will be done in case of structures. But if you see in union, if you modify this one as union, then what happens is, here also we have taken same char X which requires 1 byte and float which requires 4 bytes. Now for in this case for E, it will not allocate total of like structure, it will allocate the largest size. What is the largest among these two? 4 bytes. So it will allocate only 4 bytes, and those 4 bytes will be shared by character, that is X variable and Y variable. So memory sharing is possible here, and always allocation will be done, and it allocates the storage which is equal to the largest one. So here 5 bytes will be allocated, here 4 bytes only will be allocated. So as only 4 bytes will be allocated, this implies that union can, even if union can contain multiple members, multiple data type members, it cannot handle all the members at the same time. Why? sufficient memory storage will not be provided. So if you are storing X value, we can't store Y value. But if you are forcibly storing the Y value, X bytes and total of 4 bytes will be occupied by Y and X can't be X value can't be stored in this memory. So we can say even if union is capable of storing multiple values of different data types, that is okay, but we can't handle, it cannot handle all the members at the same time. But whereas in structures, we can store character value and also we can store float value. These two values will persist. But whereas in union, only one value of the particular data type value can be stored. Got it? So this is the main difference between the structure and the union. Now, how a union can be defined and declared same like your structure, but the keyword what we are using here is union keyword. The syntax will be like this. In case of structures, we used to write struct here, but if you want to convert this one total thing as union, then you need to use the union keyword, and then you need to write down the tag name and what are all the members required for this one. Those members should be defined, and then you need to specify your variables whatever you want, or else you can end here semicolon and you can write union tag name, and variables can also be declared same like your structures. Okay, so if you see a simple example, union item is created, and this item union will be capable of storing 3 different data type values, and those are int, float, and char. And I have created one union variable, that is it1. But here you need to understand, like, among of all these three elements, float is having of the highest storage, which is of 4 bytes. Then 4 bytes will be allocated, only 4 bytes will be allocated, and 4 bytes should be shared by int, float, and char. Okay, we'll see the difference. We'll see how it is possible. Now, accessing a union member, how it will be done? Same like your structure. In structure, we have accessed the members by using the dot operator. Here also, we'll be using the dot operator only. Once the variable has been created, the members can be accessed by using dot operator. Right? Now, to understand this one, the difference between the structure and union, and how it is only storing that, how it is the memory is shared and all. To understand this one, let us take a simple example. I have already written the code. Union, I have taken the same example of item and I have stored int value, one float value, and one ch value. This requires 1 byte, this requires 4 byte, and this requires 2 bytes, this requires 4 bytes, and this requires 1 byte. And coming to the main, I have created one variable of I. Okay, and for I dot a, I have assigned value of 22. For I dot float, I have assigned a value of 56.9, and for I have assigned a value of ch as a, because it is a character. Now I am trying to print these values: I dot a, I dot b, I dot c. ch. Now suppose if this is a structure data type, struct item, and then we need to write struct, that's it. And we can use the same code, and there we have already run that program and we got the values of a, b, c, h value. But suppose if you run this program, then you can check here the output. The first value has been corrupted and the second value is also being corrupted little bit. We have stored 56.9, but we are getting 56.89 and something, and we are only getting the exact value of your last one, that is ch. See this output. First value is of a, which has got corrupted. Second value is also got corrupted, but third value is as it is. What is the reason behind that one is, if you are allocating 4 bytes, then 4 bytes of those 4 bytes, in the first 2 bytes, a value has been stored. That is okay. Coming to the next one, what happens? B value will be stored. To store the B value, it requires again 4 bytes. That means A value will be completely overwritten with the B value with 4 bytes. Now coming to the next value, we are storing ch value, which requires 1 byte. So of the remaining of the 4 bytes, 1 byte will be occupied by ch. So what happens in the 3 bytes, whatever we have, that has been little bit corrupted by the flow. So that's why we have got this output where totally a value has been removed, and that means that is totally corrupted, but there is a little change in our float value and the char value has been displayed as it is. Understood all of you? So this is how your union can be used. So the only difference you need to understand here is unions are used to store the different data type elements only, but we can access only one member at a time because depending upon the storage. Got it all of you? So this is about unions. I hope you all are clear with this concept. Let us all meet in our next lecture. Until then, thank you all of you.